Wanna have fun? Yeah, we can have fun. We can play. Perfect. Thank you. Are we ready to go? Hello to you and welcome. It's Visionaries time, and any pioneer will tell you that more often than not, necessity is the mother of invention. After experiencing the loneliness that often comes with entrepreneurship, our guest today started a popular networking session for entrepreneurs. It's called the Hookup Dinner. Help me to welcome Phakiso Tsotetsi. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
And I'm very excited that you're here, not only because you're a Soweto person, you know, I've got a little bit of nepotism when it comes to that. So you grew up in Diepkloof.
Yes.
Born in Diepkloof, then you moved to Hillbrow.
Yes.
Maybe talk to me about the circumstances around that move and what it was like.
So, born and raised in Soweto, obviously Diepkloof Phase 3. I think I grew up there up until I was about 10. And then my parents got divorced. Story of every child in South Africa. And then we moved to Hillbrow. So my mom packed up the bags, myself, my sister, 2 sisters, and we all moved to Hillbrow, and I then grew up there for a very good part of my life. Of course, there was crime here and there, but it was an amazing space.
It forces you to be quick on your feet, to be resilient.
And funny enough, the guys from Soweto didn't want to come to Hillbrow. Interestingly enough, they thought that Hillbrow is a lot more dangerous than Soweto, and I was like, but I don't understand, because
that's why you met your partner as well, your current business partner.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Hillbrow.
Yeah.
I loved what you said. I read somewhere once that you said in Hillbrow, everybody give a clever.
Yeah.
Right? But Soweto, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And as a result, you had to become streetwise.
Yeah.
You had to know how to navigate your way around the different areas within Hillbrow itself. You knew gore go na le fleet e nngwe different.
Yes.
Go na le fleet that tshwanetse we sharp how bitsa bo chomi ba hao, or even, you know, when there's something wrong.
Yeah,
you know, and those are the, exactly.
Yeah.
And those are the soft things that you learned, but it was a blessing for me, to be honest, being raised in that environment.
Yeah.
Of course, there were risks that any mother would have been concerned about. Drugs were rife, you know, crime was around, but you knew what not to do. You knew that drugs were wrong.
There was the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
and you're, sorry to interject there, because so we speak about your move, but when you then leave your father, how does that strain your relationship? Were you able to stay in touch with him going forward?
You know, because we were so young, we were not so aware of what was going on. You know, unfortunately, black parents don't always sit you down and say, this is what's going on. You just kind of see things happening, right? Yeah. But my dad was always there. But being there, he was an ATM father more than he was a parent, right? He was a father, but he was never a parent. So when I needed money to go and buy the latest sneakers, I'd call him, because he would then give me the money to go and do what we needed. And that was common amongst me and my siblings, where we just knew that dad was there, we knew where his house was. As a result, we'd go and get money from there. But as I grew up and I understood what it meant to be a man, and I was traveling the world, and you know, I met a couple of people that were having different relationships with their fathers. I mean, particularly I met a gentleman when I was in the United States working as a counselor at one of the summer camp programs. And this guy's, he was studying to be, number one, he was studying to be a doctor, right? What was I doing? I had a diploma in travel and tourism, and yes, I was traveling, and here I am in America, but this guy is my age and he's studying to be a doctor, right? So his dad comes to the camp and says to us, hey guys, you know, it's your 3 days off, let's go and have a beer, right? So I then go, huh?
How? You can have a beer with your dad?
You
can
father?
hang out with your father?
That's like, it's
what
illegal.
manner of life is this?
Exactly. So he takes us out and sits with us at the bar, buys us drinks.
Chats.
The entire day, and drives us home when we are nice and sloshed, right? Wakes up in the morning, takes us out for breakfast and says, hope you guys are good. Go and do what you do best, right? So you pick up those type of things and you're like, so that's what fathers do. That's what parents do. by being visible,
Present.
by being correct, being present in their children's lives.
But you and your siblings still manage to make it work somehow, you know? Speak to me about them.
Yeah. So I've got...
There's a picture of you, big brother. Tell me
so
about
that's me
that.
in my nice shorts and the third born, which is Lebo. And I've got 3 siblings. So it's Petunia, it's Lebohang, and it's Nathan.
Yes.
Mr. Page. And my sister and I, the second born who comes after me, is a year younger than
So
me.
you guys are pretty close.
We're like Tom and Jerry.
Oh.
You know, she's an amazing, strong woman. She always says to me, I had to look after you.
Yeah.
I had to always do this and cook for you. And but you know, she was playing the role because my mom was she was busy. You know, my mom was holding out 2 jobs, one at the Holiday Inn Garden Court in the evening, when she was done at 6 a.m. The night shift, and then she would go and become a teacher, teach kids at school, and then when she comes back, she had to sleep.
And your mom was also studying.
Yeah.
I have no idea how she gets that done.
And studying.
You know?
So she was quite clever, though.
2 jobs.
2 jobs.
Kids.
Yeah.
Books.
Yeah.
She did it.
She's got a what?
Phenomenal
an
woman.
honors in education, and she's still a teacher today. And what she used to do is she used to study while she was at night shift, right? And then come back home, go to school, and then, you know, go and sleep.
There she is, graduating.
Yeah, rock star. She's an amazing woman.
Amazing. You know, usually we say, Mama, I made it.
Yeah.
So she would say, kiddies, I made it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And as a result, us growing up, seeing her do what she needed to do.
Yeah.
So there were 2 things. There was the compromise of not always being there. So we always saw her sleeping because we knew she had to do what she needed to do for us, right? So as a result, that drove a lot of me being aware and my sisters being aware of the fact that you can't fail, because she didn't fail. Irrespective of what was going on. You can't make excuses about how difficult things were, even though they are difficult. You can't make excuses about not getting to where you need to get to. Here's a person who's working 2 jobs and studying. It's incredible. As a result, for me, I've never wanted to let her down in everything I do. I've never failed. And I want to say that proudly. And I know, unfortunately, in South Africa, we don't promote the culture of failing, right? I learned that in Israel when I was in Israel. But we don't promote the culture of failing. It's okay to fail. But for me, it's not, even though I know it's okay to fail. So as a result, I will always do things in a manner that I must succeed. And even if I don't succeed, I still don't beat myself up. So when a business fails, it's okay. You know, the trick, though, is to know how to move on.
Yes.
Is to know how
to learn from that.
And forgive.
Love it.
Yeah? Forgive, draw the line in the sand, move on. The faster you learn how to do that, the more successful you are, because there are lessons that come out. Personal lessons, business lessons. There's so much that comes out of it. Acknowledge it. Forget about it. Forgive if you need to forgive. Move on. Go to the next phase of your life.
Love it. The fruits of mama's labors come to pass because you finish school, you then travel the world. I want to find out what happens next, so do stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Let's continue our conversation with entrepreneur Phakiso Tsotetsi. Pax, just before the break, we were talking about how you finished school, then you traveled the world. Where did you go and what happened?
So I lived in the United States for a good 4 years. And then when I was done there working with kids with disabilities and stuff as a counselor there, I then rerouted my flight ticket and went to England.
Sure.
And then I stayed for a good 4 years there as well, doing various types of jobs. I think the key thing for me was just to try and broaden my understanding of the world and what was happening. And it wasn't really a career move. It was more of exposure. I've always believed that exposure is a fundamental component to how people think. And the more you know and the more you see, the better you reason and the more you think outside of the box. And I lived in those countries because they were the biggest countries and the most exciting countries to go to. And yeah, that's what I did. And then I came back.
Yes. What happens when you come back home?
So my business partner tricked me. While I was in England, he called me and he showed me a massive house with tennis courts and swimming pools. And he said, my friend, you're living in England. Look how I'm living. Look how I'm living.
You're missing out.
You're missing out. Come, let's start a business together. And I thought to myself, I've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
Let me go back home. And we started a business, and we started by selling beanbags and ottomans. And we supplied that to a lot of eventing companies while we ran an events management company ourselves, where we used to do a lot of metric dance after parties, right? So as opposed to the guys going to clubs, which was quite popular at the time, we got them to come to this really beautiful house in Baklu and said, you don't have to leave at 2 o'clock in the morning when the club closes. You can leave at 6. We'll even do a braai for you.
Yes, so you breakfast.
Absolutely, right? And it was safer. It was in a suburban area. And we made a lot of money. We made a lot of money from it. So beanbags were part of the deco and setup that we used. And as a result, people would see that type of stuff and say, hey, do you guys make these things? And we thought, yeah, sure.
Wow.
We do. And then we started making these things with a gentleman from Somalia who we've worked with for years, who's the guy who actually manufactures them for us. And then we would then market the product, put it out in the market, and we made a business out of it.
And then what happened?
And then we realized how difficult business was.
Yes.
And we realized that, oh my God, we need to go and study this business thing. So we went and enrolled ourselves at the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship, where we studied, entrepreneurship. And that's when we really had the epiphany that, this thing is lonely, especially in this country where you're probably like the first generation in your family to run a business. You didn't have access to a lot of people. The only access you had was your colleagues in class. So the colleagues that we had in class were the people that we could really leverage each other's networks. And that's how we came up with the Hookup Dinner. And we said, well, why don't we try and hook up over dinner on the first Friday of every month? And we started in a small noodle bar in Braamfontein, which had one long table in the middle. There was about 6, 7 people that came. The bar didn't have alcohol. We got the guys to bring their own bottles of wine, and they would order noodles there, right? And we sat and we literally just spoke about, what do you have? What do I have? What do you need? How can we work together? Exactly. How do we collaborate in doing certain things? And first month that happened, second month, Second month, we grew from 7 people to about 20, 30 people. Third month, we saw 80 people. And it started drizzling out of this thing, and people were still standing outside gazebos. And today, we are in 8 African countries.
In fact, that picture we just saw is of you
that was us in Israel.
Launching the Hookup Dinner in Israel.
Launching the Hookup Dinner with Investec.
Tell me a bit about the impact now.
8 African countries.
8 countries.
We've been to Israel, we've been to Australia, we've launched there. And the decision for us to stick to Africa is because we realized that there was never a gateway for other other countries to access Africa. But the fundamental thing is to say, how do you allow and start enhancing trade?
Intra-Africa trade. Agreed.
Right?
I mean, like you said, with the ottoman and the beanbags, you worked with a guy from Somalia.
Exactly.
How else do we then say, hey, is there a deal we can do in Nigeria, 100%. In Kenya, Uganda?
And that's exactly it.
Wow.
And that has to be that gateway. And one of the things that I'm very proud of that we've started is called the People's Fund, which is another company we're co-founder of, where we're feeding what we have access to entrepreneurs by, and we've realized that capital is an issue. So we did what our mothers have been doing for all these years, which is running the stokvel. And the stokvel, it's about contributing. So the stokvel can now allow an ordinary person to be an active participant to the economy by contributing 100 Rand. And that 100 Rand allows, you have 10,000 people, you've got the 100 Rand sitting out there, which then allow us to be able to then capitalize and finance a lot of businesses for startup entrepreneurs in the country. So if you come to us and you've got an asset that you need to go and purchase, the people will finance it. If you've got a purchase order that you can't deliver because our capital will deliver a stationary, the People's Fund will finance it. Because we understand, we are entrepreneurs, we know that's the problem. And accessing capital is a problem. So we're going to challenge the banks. We're going to make sure that banks are very uncomfortable.
I love it. I love it. You make it sound too easy, though. What's been the most challenging thing about your career so far?
People.
Yeah.
People. Are people being lazy to a degree? Are people being afraid?
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
We don't travel enough as South Africans. I'll give you an example. Where in the world do you not find a Nigerian? Where in the world do you not find a Kenyan? Where in the world do you not find a Chinese person? How many of us South Africans are traveling the world the same way as those people?
Lazy is a strong word, though.
Yeah. And when I say lazy, I say that with caution, because We are doing things.
Yeah.
But when you see what other entrepreneurs are doing in other African countries, you realize that we actually have more access to so much, yet we're not as successful. We don't have enough businesses that are starting, that are supported by government, that are in the rest of the continent or in the rest of the world. So that, to me, says to a degree there's a level of laziness, because we could be doing more because we have access to more. So what are we doing then? There's a problem, right? Is it education? Possibly. But look, there's one thing I'm very proud of as being a South African, is that we as a country are being compared to first world great countries.
Yeah.
Even though we're so small as a nation.
We're punching above our weight.
And the fact that they criticize us all the time, I'm just like, you're comparing us at their highest level. That means we're doing something good, and we need to keep at it. We need to stick to it up until we can become the gateway to the rest of Africa, because we are.
Yeah. I love it. Playing with the big boys now. Okay, so what does the future have in store? That is my question. Coming up next, you'll have to stay with us to find out. See you in just a bit. Hello again. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm super excited because I'm joined by my namesake now. Ayanda Tsotetsi is with us, and she's a beautiful wife of Phakiso Tsotetsi. And Phakiso,
yes.
I know that you said that being a father is one of your greatest accomplishments. So can I reveal that there's actually 3 of you sitting on that couch and not 2? Tell us more. Ayanda, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Spill the beans.
I think the beautiful thing about being a father is, for me, stems from the fact that I want to do the wrongs that my father did. I want to
Right them.
I want to right them wrong. You know, I want to be there from day one till the end. I want to share the experiences that I've had, and the love, and being a parent, and all these things. And I think it's not the easiest job, I know. I mean, my best friends have told me, but in the midst of everything, you know, I've got the experience from my mom, which I've seen what it takes to be able to do it. But on the other end, I know that I wanna build something that's just gonna be so special for this family.
I love it.
Yeah.
You have 2 boys already. So there's an older boy, 16. There's
16.
also the 5-year-old, and the baby girl.
Yes.
At least there'll be a girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Ayanda, tell the truth, ne? Don't feel pressured at all, even though he's right next to you.
Yeah.
Does he do the help? You know, does he like run around with the kids,
No, he
make
does.
cereal? Also, change again.
I hope so. We're actually talking about it this morning. I hope he's just going to do what you promised to do when she's here.
Are you going to wake up and do the midnight feedings and all of that?
I've worked at Otandweni Children's Home, by the way.
It's not the same.
Voluntarily.
It's the same. No, it's not the same, Sam. It's not the same, Sam. Yes, changing the nappy is changing the nappy. But changing the nappy when Ayanda is tired and the other kids are like, Daddy, Daddy, and there's a phone call, but say, the Hookup Dinner is happening this Friday.
Look, I got
Priorities,
this.
leadership.
I got this.
Ne?
This I got. This I'm
Do
not
you
worried
guys have a
I
name
trust
already?
you. Do we?
Have a name?
Yes, we do. But it's very difficult to pronounce. Riachile. Yes.
Reahile.
Yes.
We have built.
We've built.
The significance?
It's where I am. I think that's what I'm constantly doing. This for me is that part that I feel is gonna fulfill me, and it's kind of speaking to the future that we've built. Yeah, so that when I hopefully retire at 40, I can sit back and be proud.
I don't understand why people do that.
And be proud of the building.
Retiring at 40. But you had always said that by the age of 35, you want to be, you know, a father, have a beautiful wife, you know, smart, intelligent, holding down her own, you know, in her own right. And it's happened.
Yes.
So the 40 can just happen after all, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it.
It must just come.
Ayanda, again, truth. Ne? Don't feel any pressure. What's the most annoying thing about him? Because he's sitting here looking well put together, like the sun shines out of his ears. Jay, what's the most annoying thing about
The
him?
most annoying thing is his cell phone. Like, that's the first thing that he goes for in the morning. Yeah, but other than that, no, he's a great guy.
He doesn't like cry during movies or things like that?
No, okay, he doesn't want to be disturbed when he's watching a movie.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how
he's
important.
He's one of those people, the bomb can go off, whatever, but he's like, what?
Yeah. Even if you've got something very important to tell him, do not disturb. Yeah.
How did you guys meet? My favorite question.
Wow.
What did he say? Was his game whack?
Well, I'll leave it to him to tell the story.
So Ayanda and I used to live in the same complex for a good 5 years, I think.
What?
And she used to live literally directly opposite where my unit was. And I had never seen her.
No way.
Right? So after, I separated with my ex, I then went to Durban like about a year and a half later. And I met her in Durban.
No way.
I kid you not. So she walks in, and of course, we're all at the same place where we go when we are in Durban, called. What's that place again?
Is it Ushaka Merino?
No.
Try again.
Cubana.
Cubana.
We are all in
Cubana. Love found you at Cubana.
You can't go to Durban and not do Cubana.
Oh my God. No, see, I'm thinking the kids.
No,
that's why I'm like Ushaka.
No, there's no children there.
Okay.
Then she walks in, and not the prettiest girl in the club. And I was like, no, but she wasn't. She was just from the road. From driving with your friends and stuff.
Oh, so you just arrived?
Yeah, just arrived.
Yeah, 6 hours on the road, we'll do that to you. We'll do that to anybody.
Yeah, and I was with a good friend of mine, Tsepo, and he says, yeah, get type how.
Why?
Yeah, as she walked in, I really get type how.
How?
Short hair, very tomboyish looking. And I get type how, and I was like, no, right, I'm fun.
Why?
And then I go to her. Just simple.
She was herself.
To herself. Doesn't have to prove herself to anyone, right?
I love it.
So I go to her and I say, hey, how are you? You don't even say hello.
Yeah.
And she says to me, when I Melane.
Yes, girl. I like her already.
So she says, Maranyakwazi muswena. And I'm thinking, uyangazi. Wangibiza nge-VIN number. You know, umuntu makubiza nge-VIN number. But I know where you stay, wabizi address, wabizi unit number.
Oh
and I thought, you're not good for me.
Oh
I said, I'll buy you a drink anyway because we are neighbors.
Because you might know things about me. Yeah.
And the rest is history. I think we kept in touch from there, and that was it.
What else do you hope to achieve?
Personally, build a strong family.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's simple for me. It's clear. Career-wise, continue to do what we're doing. We want that and the People's Fund now to be the gateway for Africa, and that's clear.
So I'm going to ask you, what you want for your family going forward, what you want for him, what you want for yourself.
Okay, for our family going forward, for you to keep doing what you're doing and being a great daddy and a husband. Yay. And I shall always be behind your back in everything that you do. You know I'm always your soldier, so that will never stop. And I hope we just, do this together.
Yeah.
I love it. Renewal of the vows. Yellow. We are there. We can just move immediately from the show. So let's leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us, the both of you. I wish you everything of the best.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you very much. And that's where we leave it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Let's do it all over again next week. Bye for now.
So there are 4 pillars that have governed my life that I'd like to share with you. 1, love what you do. Very important in your life because it will take you through all the tough times. 2, spirituality. Know where to go when things are tough. Believe in something that is bigger than you outside of yourself. Number 3, have a dream. Follow your dreams all the way through, whether it be in your career or whatever it is that you do. Follow your dream so that you stay on track. And number 4, make money. Make lots of money, because money is the one thing that will get you through channels that you never believed. But most importantly, know how to manage money. Number last is that be a chameleon, be fluid, be versatile, know how to fit in various places in your life. And I guarantee you, if you stick to those things, you'll make it in life.